What's going on, guys? Welcome back. And I can't believe I'm saying this right now, but after a nearly 10-year hiatus, LEGO Lord of the Rings is back, because today, some set images were revealed for the LEGO Lord of the Rings Rivendell set. Now, there were some set images revealed a little while back for some Lord of the Rings brickheads, which look fine. I'm not the biggest fan of brickheads. They're serviceable, and I've bought a few of them in my time, but they're not really my thing, so I was waiting for a reveal of this scale, and man, when they decided to bring back LEGO Lord of the Rings, they really brought it back. By the looks of it, this may end up being the best Middle-earth set to date. The only one that rivals it, in my opinion, is the Bag End set based off of The Hobbit, which remains my personal favorite LEGO set of all time. First, let's take a look at the minifigures, because we are getting updated and mostly improved versions of the entire Fellowship cast, as well as a few new additions. The standout, in my opinion, being Bilbo Baggins, this being the first time we're getting the older version of Bilbo played by Ian Holm rather than the younger version played by Martin Freeman. And he looks really cool. I love the use of the Doc Brown hairpiece, and they've even included an alternate face for the scene where he temporarily becomes corrupted by the ring and tries to take it from Frodo. The rest of the hobbits look great as well. I love that they have dual molded legs this time around to resemble, of course, their bare hobbit feet. Arwen and Aragorn look pretty cool too, although Arwen does reuse what I believe to be Tina Goldstein's face from Fantastic Beasts. And Aragorn isn't actually wearing his normal ranger outfit. These are his more leisurely elven robes, so that does make me think we'll be seeing a different version of Aragorn in these new Lord of the Rings sets. And I don't know, something about this new face for him doesn't really work for me. I think the old Aragorn face had a much better resemblance to Viggo Mortensen, but maybe that's just me. Gandalf and Elrond also receive updated minifigures, which I think look pretty great. The use of the newer gown piece for both of them looks excellent, and while I will admit this new elf hairpiece generally looks much better than the one used in the original Middle-earth sets, I don't love that Elrond's crown or headband is just printed onto the headpiece. It takes the versatility out of that face print, meaning it can't really be applied to different custom minifigures. The new versions of Legolas and Boromir also look frickin' fantastic, although I don't love that Legolas just uses the same face that has been used on Cedric Diggory, Hawkeye, and countless other minifigures over the past several years. But aside from that, the printing on both of them is fantastic, and look at that! They've molded a new sword piece that is specific to Boromir. How awesome is that? Speaking of specialized molds, Gimli has two new ones for his axes, which just look awesome. We even have an older version of Gloin included, Gimli's father, which I never expected to see, and they've fixed my biggest problem with the original Gimli minifigure. That being that you couldn't really attach a hairpiece to his head. If you removed the helmet, he'd just kind of have to be bald, but they've created a new mold for Gimli's beard, which allows you to fit a hairpiece over top of it. These two random elves are also included, and there's nothing particularly noteworthy about them. They both use stock Lego faces, and it would have been nice to see a different color for that new elf hairpiece, but instead they just reuse the same colors we've already seen on Legolas and Elrond in this same set, although I will admit the rest of the printing on them looks pretty great. And even beyond the minifigures, it looks like this set will just recapture so many iconic moments from the films. You can see Bilbo in his study writing his book, the mural depicting Isildur's final stand against Sauron, and even Boromir picking up the shards of Narsil, the sword which once belonged to Elendil. That must mean there is an upcoming set which includes the full version of that sword once it has been reforged into Anduril, the Flame of the West. There are some other pictures on the wall as well. One of them appears to show a boat departing for the Grey Havens, and the other one I initially thought was Minas Tirith, but other people have pointed out it's probably Valinor, which makes much more sense. This is Rivendell we're talking about, and not one of the kingdoms of men. The Council of Elrond looks like it's being presented far better than in the 2013 set of the same name. The bridge where Arwen and Aragorn sing their song looks incredibly simplistic, yet very well built. And there's even a blacksmith shop, which appears to include several newly molded elven swords, which is just so cool. I cannot express how appreciative I am of the fact that they are actually including specialized molds for these weapons, because aside from Sting, the 2012 sets included very few specialized molds for the weapons. They mostly just reused the same short and longsword pieces. There are countless other details I could mention, like Elrond standing next to what appears to be the map of the Lonely Mountain, the lush, colorful trees, the beautiful tiling work on the roof, and them including brick-built versions of the characters' legs to represent them sitting down. A completely unnecessary detail, but adds that extra bit of realism. They really did pull out all the stops with this set, and it is just a dream come true for this Lord of the Rings fan. The only problem is it's going to be somewhere between $500 and $700. $700 if I were to guess here in Canada, which means it will be a while before I actually pick this one up, if I pick it up at all. I'm holding out hope that they will release some smaller sets, which include some of the same minifigures and new pieces included in this one. I think it's been confirmed they're making a Barad-dûr set, which will release sometime this year or next year, but that is bound to be just as big, if not bigger than this set. So let's just keep our fingers crossed that they'll release some smaller sets sometime in between now and then. If not, and this does end up being one of the only new Lord of the Rings sets, then I better start saving. But you guys let me know. What are your thoughts on the new images released for the Rivendell set? Do you agree with me that it looks fantastic, or do you disagree with me and think that it looks underwhelming? Just whatever your thoughts are, please let me know them all in the comments below. And of course, as always, I hope you guys have a great day. Take care.